I'm Steve, and welcome back or welcome to the Career Success Academy. We're glad that you're here, and we've got a good one for you today. A little bit different, but it's probably one of the most important topics we've talked about in mastering the interview. Let's talk about something that affects everyone here. Have you ever had a conversation where it could be any kind of an emotional conversation, where you're talking to somebody and then 20 minutes after you're done, you think to yourself, I wish I had said that, or why didn't I say it this way, or wow, I wanted to talk about and I forgot to bring it up. Well, that comes usually from the heat of the moment and the stress of the situation. So in this video, we're going to talk about how you can be more confident, especially in that interview that you really want to get that job, after we talk about you liking, sharing, and subscribing this video, because somewhere at some time you're going to know someone who's going to go through that interview and they really need a little boost of confidence. By the way, I want you to ring that little bell so that you're notified the next video is coming out. Okay, let's talk about being confident in that interview. What are a couple of tips and techniques that you can use to make sure that you are conveying, especially on a computer-to-computer interview, your best you? So let's talk about this. You are in control of what you say, when you say it, and how you say it. So my suggestion to you, in order to minimize your stress, you should, number one, have notes. Before the interview ever starts, put down your bullet points of those 2 or 3 subjects, obviously about you, that you want to make sure you say to your interviewer. You want to work them into the conversation. The one thing you don't want to do is have the interview end and you forgot to tell them something important, or you forgot to ask a question that you really wanted to ask. And we could go through a lot of what ifs, but the most important thing is having those bullet points written down. Now, I like to use Post-it notes because you can put it in your line of sight, even on the computer screen, if you will, but off to the side, so that you can remember to ask those questions or bring out those points. Something pertinent to that particular job that you thought lines you up with that job, makes you the best candidate, that type of thing. Number 2, make sure that if you have questions about the job, write those questions down. That's another bullet point. So if you're worried about whether the position is going to be a blend of remote work as well as in the office work, or is it going to be totally in the office, or is it going to be totally remote, you want to make sure that that's the kind of thing you write down so you don't forget at the end of the interview you're wondering why you didn't ask the question in the first place. As I mentioned before, this is all about confidence. Being confident means you're giving that image that you've been there before, you've done this before, and you're comfortable with the interview, even though on the inside you're anything but comfortable. So make sure that before the interview starts, you calm yourself, take a deep breath, focus in on those things that are your strong suits. Some of those are your soft skills, meaning you communicate well, you're remembering to speak slowly, not talk too much in the interview. All these things are going through your head. The worst thing that could possibly happen is that they ask you a question and the answer you give does not match what's on your resume. Think about that. So I suggest to you that, and in other videos we've talked about tailoring a resume for a particular opportunity. My suggestion to you is that you make a copy, a hard copy, a physical copy of that resume and have it sitting alongside of your computer. So if they bring up something, number one, you can always glance down, but most importantly, before that interview starts, you've reviewed your resume, you've calmed yourself, you've gained that confidence because you know that you're a good candidate, but you're also the best candidate for that particular job opportunity. And one more thing. Remember what I said before. You're in command of what you say and how you say it. So you don't want to stray too far afield from what you put on that resume or begin to tell a story that is not on your resume unless you have a reason for saying it. And this we'll talk about after we recap. Let's recap now. When you go through what you put on that resume for this particular opportunity, because I'm assuming that you created that resume or tailored that resume, or maybe you tailored your objectives or your value proposition, or tweaked your skills to match what they're looking for, which is very, very important to do. Please see our series about crafting a resume and building a knockout resume. But most importantly, you must be familiar with who you are and what you're portraying to these people. So you don't want to tell stories. You don't want to talk too much because you will start going on a direction that takes away from the reason they wanted to interview you in the first place. So I want to close with this thought. The interviewer saw something on your resume that they're interested in. Of the hundreds and hundreds of resumes they received for this particular position, they chose you. They chose you because of what you put on your resume. I don't know how else to say this. So you should have that confidence. You should already feel good when you take that deep breath and you take a look at your resume. Try to figure out what it is that they see in your resume that put you over the top. Figure out, if you can, what that is. And make sure that you address that. That's the kind of thing you put on those bullet points. Because obviously, you and they are on the same wavelength, on the same mindset, until you take that turn by telling some sort of story that they don't really care about. I hope that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, like this video. And we thank you for being here. We're looking forward to seeing you on our next video. Take care.